Close your eyes for a second. Actually do it. Put your hands over your ears right now and just listen. You hear it, don't you? That deep, rhythmic whooshing sound. That low, pulsing rush that feels like it's coming from inside the walls of your own head. It's steady. It's consistent. And if you focus on it long enough, it starts to feel almost alien. Like something alive is moving through you. Because something alive is moving through you. That sound is your blood. Your actual blood. Pumping through the vessels in and around your ears right now at this very moment. And the only reason you don't hear it all the time is because your brain decided long ago that it was too boring to pay attention to. Your own circulatory system is running constantly, loudly, and your brain just tunes it out like background noise on a TV you stopped watching. But the moment you cover your ears, everything changes. And today, we are going to go deep into exactly why. We are talking about how sound actually works inside your body. Why covering your ears amplifies internal sounds instead of blocking them. What your brain is doing when it filters out your own heartbeat. And what it means when people start hearing that sound, even when their hands are nowhere near their ears. This is the science of your own body listening to itself. And once you understand it, you will never cover your ears the same way again. Let's get into it. Sound is not magic. Sound is physics. It is vibration. When something moves, it pushes the air molecules around it. Those molecules bump into the next ones, and that chain reaction of compression and expansion travels outward in every direction as a wave. That wave eventually reaches your ear, vibrates your eardrum, and your brain translates that mechanical wobble into what you experience as sound. That is how you hear a voice, a car engine, a song. External sounds travel through air as waves, and your ear catches them. But here is the thing most people never think about. Air is not the only medium that carries sound. Sound travels through solids and liquids too. In fact, sound travels faster, and often louder, through dense materials than it does through air. Sound moves through water almost 5 times faster than through air. Through bone, it moves even faster than that. And your body is full of solids and liquids. Bone, fluid, tissue, muscle. Your entire skeleton is a sound-conducting structure. Your skull is a hollow, dense bone enclosure sitting right next to your ears. And running through all of that structure is a pressurized system of tubes constantly pushing fluid through them at rhythmic intervals. Your blood vessels are vibrating right now. Every time your heart contracts and sends a pulse of blood through your arteries, those vessels expand slightly under the pressure and then spring back. That expansion and contraction creates a mechanical wave, a vibration that travels through the surrounding tissue, through the fluid, through the bone. It is a sound, a real physical sound, produced inside your body every single second of your life. You just can't normally hear it over everything else. Here is why covering your ears changes everything. When your ears are open, they are flooded with external sound. Traffic, people talking, the hum of electronics, air conditioning, birds, wind. Your auditory system is constantly processing a complex incoming stream of external audio information, and that stream is loud enough to completely drown out the relatively quiet internal sounds your body is making. But the moment you press your palms over your ears, you do 2 things simultaneously. First, you block the external sound. Second, and this is the part most people miss, you create a sealed chamber, a small enclosed air pocket between your hand and your ear canal. And that sealed chamber acts like a resonance cavity. It amplifies certain frequencies, specifically low frequencies. And blood flow is a low-frequency sound. So you are not suddenly hearing something new when you cover your ears. You are hearing something that was always there. You blocked the competition and turned up the bass, and suddenly the soundtrack your cardiovascular system has been playing your entire life becomes impossible to ignore. And it is not just the blood in your ears you are hearing. You are hearing blood in the vessels of your scalp, in the temporal artery that runs along the side of your head just in front of your ear, in the carotid arteries in your neck, which are major superhighways for blood traveling to your brain. You are hearing the combined vibration of an entire network of vessels, all pulsing in rhythm, with a pump that has been running without stopping since before you were born. Different shapes resonate differently. A cupped hand creates a larger air pocket, which amplifies lower frequencies more. A tight palm creates a smaller chamber with a slightly different resonance profile. Plugged fingers change the seal and alter which frequencies bounce around inside. You are essentially tuning the instrument every time you adjust your hand position. Your ear canal becomes a small acoustic chamber, and the exact dimensions of that chamber determine what gets amplified and what gets muffled. This is also why some people hear a whooshing sound that seems to match their heartbeat, and others hear more of a steady roar or rushing wind sound. It depends on the individual anatomy of the blood vessels near your ear, how much pressure your cardiovascular system is generating at that moment, and the exact acoustic properties of the chamber you have created with your hands. Interestingly, your posture matters too. If you cover your ears while lying down versus standing, you may hear different things. When you lie down, blood pressure in the vessels near your head can increase slightly. The fluid dynamics in your inner ear shift, and the angle of major vessels near the ear changes. Some people find the sound dramatically louder when lying flat. Others find it quieter. Your body is not a static machine. It is constantly adjusting, constantly changing pressure and flow. And what you hear is a live readout of those adjustments. Exercise makes it dramatically louder. After a workout, when your heart rate is elevated and your cardiovascular system is pushing higher volumes of blood through every vessel in your body, cover your ears and the rush is intense. You are hearing your own physiology working hard in real time. That sound is your effort, your exertion, your cardiovascular system doing exactly what it is designed to do. And here is the thing that puts it all together. The reason this experience feels so strange, so intimate, so slightly eerie when you first really tune into it is because you are breaking through one of your brain's most fundamental operations. Your brain has been hiding this from you. Not maliciously, efficiently. It decided this information was not useful to you on a moment-to-moment basis, and it buried it. And when you cover your ears, you override that decision. You reach past the filter. You hear the raw, unedited feed of your own biology. You are hearing your life. Literally. The mechanical event that keeps you alive, repeated billions of times. Quiet and relentless. Running in the background of every conversation. Every meal. Every night of sleep. Every moment of joy or grief or boredom you have ever had. It was always there. You just finally got quiet enough to hear it. Now, let's talk about what your brain is normally doing with all of this. Because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Your brain receives far more sensory information than it could ever consciously process. Every second of your waking life, your senses are sending massive amounts of data upward through your nervous system. The feel of your clothes against your skin, the ambient temperature of the room, the sounds in the background, the slight pressure of the chair beneath you. Your brain cannot give conscious attention to all of that simultaneously, or you would be completely overwhelmed and unable to function. So, your brain filters. It has a system called habituation. When a stimulus is constant, repetitive, and non-threatening, your brain essentially marks it as already known, not important, do not report this to conscious awareness. It gets filed under background, ignored, invisible. Your heartbeat is the ultimate habituated sound. It has been there since before you could think. It never changes enough to seem new. It never signals danger on its own. So your brain made a decision very early in your development. This sound is not worth your attention. Filter it out. Move on. This is the same reason you stop noticing the hum of an air conditioner within minutes of entering a room. The same reason you do not constantly feel the weight of your own head. Your brain is aggressively editing your experience of reality to keep you focused on what matters. Your heartbeat got edited out a long time ago, but when you cover your ears and that sound suddenly jumps in volume and becomes undeniable, something interesting happens. The volume crosses a threshold. It becomes loud enough that the brain's filter cannot hold it back anymore. It forces its way into conscious awareness, and you notice it. Sometimes for the first time in years, sometimes as if hearing it for the very first time. And that first moment of noticing it can feel genuinely unsettling to some people, because it is a reminder that your body is doing something enormous, constantly, automatically, without you ever asking it to. Your heart has beaten over 2 billion times in an average human lifetime. 2 billion, without one conscious instruction from you. And you can spend decades without ever truly hearing it. Now here is where this topic gets darker and more serious. Because for most people, hearing their heartbeat when they cover their ears is a perfectly normal, harmless, quirky experience. But for some people, that whooshing, pulsing sound never stops. It is there when they wake up. It is there when they try to sleep. It is there in every quiet moment of every day. No hands needed. This condition is called pulsatile tinnitus, and it affects millions of people. Unlike regular tinnitus, which is a phantom sound with no physical source, a ringing or buzzing that the brain generates on its own, pulsatile tinnitus is real. The sound has an actual physical cause. The person is genuinely hearing blood flow or turbulence in a vessel near the ear, and it will not stop. The causes can range from relatively benign things like high blood pressure or increased blood flow during pregnancy, all the way to more serious conditions involving abnormal blood vessel formations near the ear, narrowing of arteries, or in rare cases, tumors pressing on nearby vessels. Pulsatile tinnitus is one of the conditions doctors take seriously because, unlike phantom tinnitus, it often points to something physically happening in the body that can be identified and sometimes treated. If you have ever covered your ears and thought that sound seems really loud, or if you hear it sometimes without covering your ears, it is worth mentioning to a doctor, not to cause panic. Just because pulsatile tinnitus, when caught early, can sometimes lead to identifying something treatable that you would want to know about. But back to the normal experience. Let's talk about why the sound changes depending on how you cover your ears. You might have noticed that if you press your palms flat against your ears, you get a different sound than if you cup your hands, or that plugging your ears with your fingers changes the pitch and rhythm of what you hear. This is all about the shape of the resonance chamber you are creating.